Okay, Shalom Akim, Kahalayim La Yahabashim Yashab Bashim Hakudash. Once more, double on Instagram from the Apostles and Thadi Yashab for the strength and all to make this video. And this one's pretty much, you could call it like a back to the basics type of video. So it shouldn't be too long, but it's just on the topic on the lawful foods, man. You know, on I think I named it cod and cloven foot. So I just wanted to get some clarification on that. You know, for any new brothers or just for clarity on the topic, really. I might as well just read it from here, just to get to the point. It shouldn't be too long of a video. I mean, it depends how how long the Spirit has it for me to talk. But yeah, Leviticus 11:1, it says, as you can see from the topic here, it says laws about animals for food. And that's pertaining for Israelites only, man. The laws were given only for Israel. Now it says in verse 1, Leviticus 11:1, and the Lord Yahweh spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying unto them, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, These are the beasts which ye shall eat among all the beasts that are on the earth. And it says in verse 3, Whatsoever parteth the hoof, and is cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that shall ye eat. So that's really the key part right there, where it says, Whatsoever parteth the hoof, and cloven-footed, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, man. So part of the hoof really is talking about having that gap within its within the, I guess, the feet. Well, the hoof is really the feet of certain beasts, such as the cattle and cattle, sheep, goats. I think deer is also one of them as well. Because really the inspiration for this video was when I was reading the book into the history of the Native Americans, and then they used to actually eat deer as part of their Thanksgiving, when I was getting into the history of Thanksgiving. So I decided, okay, let me actually search for this. Deer actually lawful? I forgot whether it was or it isn't, whether it is or it's not lawful. So I decided to check again, but it's mentioned within let me just get that. Let me get that right now. Well, actually, I'm gonna save that one there and get to a new tab and then search for it here. 14 and see from verse 1. Okay, hold on. Yeah, from verse 4, it says, These are the beasts which ye shall eat, the ox, the sheep, and the goat, the hart, the roebuck, the fallow deer. You see, so deer is allowed, as it says, cloven-footed. And cloven-footed just means it has two separate hooves. If you can, I'm gonna show you an image. So, and fallow deer and wild goat and the pygarg and the wild ox and chamois. It says, and every beast that part of the hoof, it's got that gap. I'm gonna show you. And cleaveth the clefts into claws, and cheweth cleave the cleft into two claws is a reference to cloven-footed. Cloven-footed is just like a word that refers to the hoofs dividing into two parts. I'm gonna search up. Just hold on. It's like I'm skipping my own thoughts now. And cheweth the cud among the beasts that ye shall eat. And the cod, by the way, I used to think before actually doing the searching it up, that cod was referring to grass, man. But if you even get into the root word of cod, it goes actually into pre-digested food, by the way. This is just to get clarity, any new brothers as well that will need this. I mean, yeah, it says cod here, but hold on. It says from the cud as scraping the throat. And really what that is referring to is, even mentions it here. It says as scraping the throat. That's really talking about pre-digested food. Let's see what it says here. It says, hold on. Don't know why that keeps appearing, man. So called from sound of rumination. And it says cuds only in legislation of clean and unclean animals, and almost always with Leviticus. Okay, let's see. So it says in Alright, it says rumination, the food which ruminating animals bring up to chew. See, it says the cod, and then Arabic, you have some root words there used to ruminate and quadruple. But the point is, it says rumination, the food which ruminating animals bring up to chew. So the cod, so pretty much it's like a pre-digested food, man, of which is it goes. That's why they say certain animals, such as the cow, I think maybe goat as well, they have more than one stomach, or they'll either say it's more than one stomach, or they'll call it different chambers of the stomach. You know, so that could also be another thing. So let's get to the definition of cod. So it says the portion of food which is brought up into the mouth, by ruminating animals from their first stomach to be chewed a second time. So again, it's pre-digested food that comes up again so that they can chew. So that's what it means when the scriptures talk about cod right there, man. It's not talking about grass that's being eaten. Really, is talking about which really most of the clean animals, they do eat grass, to be fair. But actual cod is just pre-digested food, man. All right, let's see this. Find rumination in animals. So rumination in animals refers to the process where ruminants re-chew cud to break down plant matter further and stimulate digestion. So yeah, it's pre-digested food, man. You know, it says break down plants matter further and stimulate digestion. So it's just a process. The rumination is just a process of them getting pre-digested food, which is the cud, broken down further. Well, again, cod is the food that comes back to the mouth of the animal so that they can re-chew it and then again go back to the stomach, man. So let's get back to the precepts again. So that was the root word for cod.
Strong's H 1625. Geirah. Geirah.
Yeah, so Geirah meaning cod, and of course we went into the root word here, or the Gesenius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon, where it says rumination, the food which ruminating animals bring up to chew the cud. So that's what it is, pre-digested food, man. So that was one of the conditions that the Most High had put for us in order to identify what animals we can chew, what animals we can eat. You know, so it says, and every beast that parteth the hoof and cleaveth the cleft into two claws, and cheweth the cud among the beasts, that ye shall eat. So it has a hoof. And it says every beast that parteth the hoof, so it's got that gap, and cleaveth the cleft into two claws, so the hoofs divide into two parts, and cheweth the cud among the beasts. So of course it has that pre-digested food that it has to re-eat again. You know, so hold on. So it's the same thing as cloven footed, where in Leviticus 11:3, it's the same thing as saying the cleaveth the clefts into two claws. That's what cloven footed means. And to just prove that, let's just do a quick Google search. What does cloven footed mean? You see, so it says the meaning of cloven footed animal is one that has a hoof that is split into two parts at the end. The characteristics commonly found in certain animals such as cows, deers, and pigs. You know, remember the Most High also said within the scriptures, despite the swine having a cloven foot, it doesn't chew the cud, which means it doesn't chew its pre-digested food. You know, so anyways, hold on, let me check this. Check Merriam-Webster quickly. Cloven footed. Yeah, that's something else. But really, that's really the point. We got the. Oh, okay. It says it here. Cloven foot, a foot as of a sheep, as an example, that has the front part divided into two parts. Now, if we just searched up right now, sheep feet. Let's just say that sheep feet. See, hold on. Let's get some proper images here, man. You can see this one right here is quite good. Notice how you see the gap, in the middle, and also obviously it divides into two parts. The hoof divides into two parts, man. Now let's read it again. Leviticus 11:3. Whatsoever parteth the hoof, that's condition 1. Parteth the hoof refers to the gap. You can see that there's a gap there. Obviously, as the nail grows, sometimes it might form like a little oval gap within the middle. So that's the gap there. It says, and it's cloven footed, so it divides into two parts. That's what cloven footed means, as we just searched up here. A foot as of a sheep that has the front part divided into two parts. You see, can you not see the two parts right there? One hoof on the left and then one hoof on the right. That's the way it looks like. So that's condition 2, and it says, and cheweth the cud among the beasts that ye shall eat. You see? And then they actually there was a list of them in Deuteronomy 14. For example, it says the ox, the sheep, the goat. So let's search up the sheep, for example. So we've already talked about the foot now. It's cloven footed. It's got the gap in between. Now let's see. Hold on. Do sheep have multiple stomachs? Or even better, hold on. Actually, I'm going to search up that first, then I'm going to search up whether it chews cud, just to get some clarity. What am I doing? Multiple stomachs. Forgot to put stomachs. Alright, let's get to this. Now it says sheep stomachs. Sheep do not have multiple stomachs, but they have a single stomach that is divided into 4 distinct compartments. So of course, it's not that, as I said, they could either call it 4 distinct stomachs, or they call it 4 what did I say before, or 4 chambers. Here they call it compartments, but 4 chambers. It says these compartments are the rumen, hence why we got into the word rumination, which is just a procedure of them chewing the cud, which rumination goes into, or it relates to, it links to the word rumen, which is one of the parts of the sheep's stomach. You got the reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. This unique digestive system allows sheep to efficiently break down and digest fibrous plant materials. The rumen is the largest compartment and plays a crucial role in fermenting plant material with help of microorganisms. The reticulum works closely with the rumen. The omasum helps in absorbing water and nutrients, and the abomasum functions similarly to the human stomach, where final digestion occurs. So of course, that's what you search out in the sheep. Now let's say what other animal did they say? Ox, sheep, goat. Goat and sheep are quite similar, but let's say something like heart. Whatever animal that may be. But yeah, so do sheep. Actually, before that, I said I was gonna say, did they chew the cud? But technically, you bro should already know the answer to that. They do. Do sheep eat? Actually, no. Chew cud. Let's see. Sheep belong to ruminant classification. Animals' ruminants are characterized as by their 4-chambered stomach and cud chewing behavior. So of course, sheep do, just from that response alone, sheep do chew the cud. So that's clarification there. Now let's say heart. Heart. First, I want to know how it looks like first. Heart. Okay. So this is how a heart looks like. It kind of looks like a part of the family of deer, to be fair. So that's a heart right there. You know, you can see from his feet that's probably got cloven foot too. Let's see. All right, now let me get an image of a heart animal feet. Heart animal feet. I put heart in it, it's not even giving me what I want. Hold on. I mean, you all can saw it just now, man. Actually, this one's the ones of a horse. Alright, how's this gonna do work? See if I can zoom in. But the point is, if you research, if you look, okay, this one should be a good one. If you then zoom in, you could tell that they got similar feet to sheep, man. You know, and goats as well. Remember, cloven footed, 2 parts of the hoof divide, as you can see from the gap there. You know, as you can see. Hold on. But yeah, as you can see there, let me go into the images again. This one again, yeah, this one. But yeah, as you can see, 2 parts, cloven footed, 2 parts of the hoof divided, and of course it's got a gap in between as well. So you know, some animals have it more prominent than others, but the gap is there nevertheless. Because remember, that gap comes from where it says whatsoever parteth the hoof. That's the gap between the cloven-footed animal, man, the cloven-footed beast, and cheweth the cud. So you know, so that's the heart. Let's say if we were to search up that same question again, yeah, this is like a way to discern whether an animal you could eat it or not, because the rules are there within the scriptures. What's it? Do heart animals chew cud? In case you're not sure if an animal is lawful, you know, especially the unique types, you know, you can ask, man. For example, I remember when I was wondering whether buffalo was lawful, but this is a way where you can find out. All right, so the heart animals chew cud. Yep, as it says here, the heart animals chew cud. The heart is one of the animals that chew cud, according to the biblical text. Clean animals are those that part the hoof and cleave. So yeah, pretty much the AI generated response is going into the scriptures here, you know, which is what we're doing this lesson upon. But yeah, it does chew the cud, man. That's the point. And you could tell from the image that we just shown, you know, of the heart. You know, over here, it looks like a deer. You know, probably was the same family. Pretty much you can see from the feet, man. Cloven footed. It has the hoof are parts. I was gonna say the hoof parteth, but yeah, what sort of part of the hoof? So there's a gap in the hoof, and obviously choose the cud as well. Because if you even research deer, which I believe heart and deer are part of the same family as well, they chew the cud as well. So the heart chews the cud. Deer also chew cud. They also chew cud as well. So it says yes, they do chew cud. They are ruminants. So pretty much the animals which are clean are known as ruminants as well, because they have the chamber in their stomach called the rumen, which we said earlier on in this video. So this is just clarity on what cud actually is. It's pretty much pre-digested grass, but really, if you want to get deep into the technicalities of things, it's just pre-digested food, man. You know, that's the point. It's pre-digested food. So as it says in Deuteronomy 4:4-14, Deuteronomy 14, verse 4-5, these are the beasts which ye shall eat: the ox, the sheep, and the goat, the hart, the roebuck, and the fallow deer, the wild goat, the pygarg, the wild ox, and the chamois. So yeah, some of these animals obviously are more unique, man, in terms of not really hearing too much about them. For example, chimois. Just want to see images, man. Okay, yeah, you see how like certain of these animals as well, they look familiar to each other. Like the deer with its own kind, the goats, the sheeps with its own kind, like them being the cattle. Because really small cattle are known as sheep, goats, and lamb. I think is part of small cattle as well. So just notice how they're part of the same family, but they all go under the rule of Deuteronomy 14 and verse 6. And every beast that parteth the hoof and cleaveth the clefts into two claws, again, aka cloven footed, and cheweth the cud, pre-digested food, back in its mouth to chew again so that it goes into the second part of the stomach, or the third, however that works. But the point is, cheweth the cud among the beasts that ye shall eat. So those are the rules right there. If you want to discern whether an animal can be eaten, does it have a gap in its hoof? That's one thing, similar to that of goats and deer. And do the hooves part into two ways? Similar to a deer, to a goat, to a sheep, to an ox. And then the third condition, and does it chew the cud, which means does it chew its pre-digested food? So that's how you discern whether amongst the beasts specifically, which one you could eat, man. Obviously, we could get into the fowls and whatnot, but I just wanted to focus on cod, man. Cod and cloven footed, just to get clarity on that. So let's see if there's something else. Said this one's gonna be short. Either I'm gonna do this or do a part 2. Yaratazar, I'm gonna do a part 2, man, because so I gotta meet up with certain brothers, Yaratazar. But yeah, that's the point. And yeah, man, Yaratazar, I'm gonna do a part 2, man, because certain of these Christians trying to flip and say that the Most High now allows all meats to be eaten. So I'm gonna tackle that Yaratazar in the part 2. So yeah, Shalom and Yahbashim Yashai Barakatha. Once more, double honors to the greatest on apostles and Yaratazar, that this has helped to also build up your understanding on the animals that are lawful, what cud means, what cloven footed means, which is the key message of this video. So yeah, Shalom, Yahbashim Yashai Barakatha, Kahalaim La, Yahbashim Yashai Bashim Rakakudash, and again, double honors to the greatest on apostles. Shalom.